So what I've done is I've laid out the gear that I anticipate taking with me for my day hike of Mount San Gorgonio. It is going to be really cold out there, but not down in the 30s. Earlier this week, things were looking pretty bad as far as weather goes, but it looks like we're going to have an upswing here just in time for our day hike. And what I normally was going to bring on an extreme winter weather hike, I am no longer bringing, and I'm going to be taking this. So I'm going to be going through all these different pieces of gear here, and yeah, let's see what we got planned to take with us. The trekking poles I'm going to be bringing are the Lakey Cork Light series, and they have the handle that's already set up for the GoPro. I don't have the GoPro in there right now because I'm using it to film this, but yeah, I'm going to have the integrated GoPro, which turns into a selfie stick by just turning the knob. So that's going to be real nice. Another thing that I'm bringing along with that is I'm going to be bringing this little mini tripod over here. It's like the knockoff GorillaPod wannabe tripod. I'm going to bring that. Maybe we'll get some other really cool looking shots. So as far as food is concerned, I'm going to be, I don't necessarily need to have lunch up there, but one of the things I wanted to do is go out there and have lunch. Me and a buddy of mine, we're going to go ahead and take a couple of mountain houses out there. But essentially we've got things set up where I'm bringing the Irritable and the Cranky Snickers bars with me. Those are going to be part of my snack system. And then the beef with barbecue sauce, Bridgeford, Walmart's finest, pre-done sandwich, I guess you can call it. Now these, just in case you're wondering, these things are the worst tasting things in the world by themselves. I'm telling you, the second you add a little bit of Tabasco and a little bit of mayo or ketchup or something, they turn into something wonderful. Now right now I don't have the mayo packets, so I'm going to have to go probably to Chick-fil-A and pick up some packets from there. As far as the actual meal that I'm going to have out there, my actual lunch, I've chosen the Mountain House sweet and sour pork. This is a 1 serving size, so we'll see how this ends up panning out. The other parts over here that we got the Nun tablets. Those will kind of go together with the water. Once I get to that in a second, I'll explain why I'm taking the Nun tablets. Now, obviously, I'm going to have them, you know, because it's good to have electrolytes out there. But I'll show you what I'm going to be doing with my water, which will be a little bit uniquely different than what I normally do. And then down over here, we have some Starburst in the Lightning McQueen bag, courtesy of my daughter Brianna. Now, I had gotten a tip from Easily Rider, who said that one of the best things out there as far as energy goes is Starburst. Now, needless to say, these things are pure sugar, so it totally makes sense that you get a boost of energy. So in lieu of doing something super expensive like Cliff Bar shots or something like that, I decided to just try good old Starburst. So I'm confident I'm going to get a nice little boost whenever I need it, but that's why those are there. Also, it gives a different taste in your mouth than you know, kind of sometimes those energy things kind of. As far as my cook kit, I'm going to be bringing my Snow Peak Trek 700 set. It still has, for those of you that saw the cook kit video that I did, it still has the titanium, the Titan cup in there and everything that you would in the Snow Peak 900. But essentially I'm bringing that because it's a little bit more compact and it packs a little bit nicer. For what I want to do when in regards to the backpack that I'm going to do. Plus, I'm also not doing any cooking, so really I don't need that big of a pot. I just need something that's going to be able to hold on, to be able to hold water in and heat up water for the mountain house. As far as what I'm going to be using to purify the water, it's going to be the Katadyn Hiker Pro, and it's been stripped down to you know, bring the bare minimum that's required. So up here, the smart water. So let's get into that. What I'm going to do differently I normally carry a hydration bladder, but I want to try something different over here because at Mount San Gorgonio, there's going to be 3 different places where we can pick up water. Now, what I plan to do, the first part of the hike is very, very steep. I mean, you gain an elevation of 1,000 feet in no time. And there's really no need to carry more water during that part than is actually required. So what you see here essentially is I'm going to have a bottle of Smart Water that's going to be empty, and I'm going to have a bottle of Smart Water that's actually only going to be half full. So that way I'm carrying the minimal weight that's required for that really steep section right at the beginning. Now the nice thing is that as soon as you're done with the steep section, there's an area to filter water. So at that point, I'm going to go ahead and filter enough water to fill all 2 liters. And hopefully that will get me to high camp. And over there at the High Creek camp, you're going to have another water source, which will allow me to fill these up to 2 liters as I make my way up to the summit, hopefully, of Mount San Gorgonio. So again, just trying to do something a little bit different, not carrying too much weight, and trying to carry weight in a smart fashion. Okay, heading back down over here to Miscellaneous Gear. Right over here, we've got our sun protection and lip balm. In here, I just have a little bit of paracord. I've got a toilet kit just in case I gotta poop out there, which I hopefully don't have to do, but just in case. I got a toilet kit in there. I've got my first aid kit in there, and I've got some ibuprofen in there also. We got athletic tape because I kind of tape my feet so I get less blisters. That's just in case I need to fix something that I've done in the morning. And this is, you know, I said paracord, but what I actually mean is shoelaces. I thought, why bring a whole bunch of paracord when really this would be more than adequate? So it's a couple pairs of shoelaces here that are going to actually work really well, and they're actually from a set of trail running shoes, and they're very, very strong. So I figure I'd bring that instead of a whole roll of paracord, just in case I need something. And yeah, gotta have this stuff. And I got another thing to tape and mouthpiece. Okay, so I've had an Osprey mouthpiece actually break on me. It wasn't because well, actually, now that I think about it, I won't be needing this because I'm not going to be using my hydration bladder. You see, that's how integrated my system is and how used to using a hydration bladder that I am. So I actually will not be needing this. So I'm kind of glad I went through this. So goodbye, Mr. Mouthpiece. Then next on the list is the headlamp. We are going to be starting in the dark, and what I use is a Princeton Tech headlamp. It works really great. You know, it's perfect. So we're going to be using that. We're going to be starting in the dark, and hopefully we'll be ending in the daytime, but there is a chance that we could possibly even be ending in the dark. So definitely want to have a good headlamp with fresh batteries. One other thing here that we have is our California fire permit. We're going to use that because we're going to be using the canister stove. So we definitely want to have our fire permit with us. I also have a map. I forgot to put it over here, but it's in the other room. And I'm going to have a map of the area that we're going to be hiking. Over here we have my sit pad. I want to say something about the sit pad. Best $14.99 I have ever spent as far as hiking is concerned and hiking gear. Definitely want to look into getting the sit pad if that's something that you know, may possibly interest you, or you're sitting there thinking, you know, hey, is that something that I really could use? I absolutely love that thing. It's perfect. It weighs nothing, and no more sitting on jagged rocks. I can finally sit on top of jagged rocks without any worries of hurting myself. So yeah, definitely looking to get in the sit pad if that's something that you want. Alright, so moving on, we'll get rid of some of this stuff, get it out of the way. As far as clothing goes, okay, so I'm gonna dress a little bit, possibly a little bit warmer than I normally do when I hike. and by a little bit warmer I mean is I'm going to wear possibly a long sleeve shirt, maybe. But usually my hiking attire is shorts, a 100% polyester shirt, and whatever else I wear. But essentially I usually just wear a t-shirt and a pair of shorts, and that's because I generate tons of heat. The one thing that I may do differently, since it's going to be a little bit colder out there, is I may throw on a long sleeve shirt on top of that. Now, as far as layers that I have some gloves, and they also have the fingers that'll work with devices, so that's really nice. As far as a jacket, I'm actually just using a plain old Dickies jacket, like a Dickies windbreaker jacket. It's a little bit heavy, I will admit, but doggone it, it really does work. It stops the wind, it keeps you warm, and it's even, it's not waterproof, but it's certainly water resistant. So that's going to be more for whenever we stop. If it gets really cold, I'll be able to throw that layer on top of what I'm wearing and probably keep perfectly warm. Over here, as far as other auxiliary clothes that I might possibly be bringing just in case, I have, and once again, don't tell the US Post Office, but I made a little Tyvek baggie out of one of their envelopes, one of their priority envelopes. That was an interesting little project, and if you look for it online, you could actually make it, and if you use a little bit of ingenuity, you can do it without even having to sew anything. You will need a number of envelopes. Again, I'm not saying that you should do this, and you're a horrible person if you do, but yeah, if you think that one through, you won't even have to sew anything. But yeah, I made a little Tyvek baggie as a clothes baggie, and in there I'm going to put an extra set of a layer of pants and another t-shirt, just in case. Again, the weather's supposed to be cold. It's not going to be super duper cold. It's going to be in the low 40s. So this is definitely more than adequate. I don't anticipate spending a lot of time on the summit or anything like that. I'm not spending an overnight. I'm just doing a day hike. So really, once I get up there, we're going to take a few pictures, maybe mill about, maybe spend at max about an hour on the summit and start heading back down. So really the need for super heavy clothes, even though it's going to be, in the low 40s, really not necessarily necessary. So since I'm also going with a much smaller system overall, I'm going to be using a much smaller backpack. Over here I have the Osprey Talon 18. Now I will say this, that this has got to be the absolute most generous 18 liters ever. The REI Flash 18 is also allegedly an 18 liter pack. I promise you this is vastly more than 18 liters. Believe it or not, all of this stuff actually fits in there, and if I still have enough battery left on my GoPro right now, I'm gonna show you guys how that all packs together. But yeah, I'm gonna be taking the Osprey Daylight, I'm sorry, not the Daylight, the Talon 18, and yeah, this thing's a killer bag, man. I have to admit, I'm really impressed with the capacity and the ability that this bag has. Yeah, it's worked out really well for me. So that is pretty much as far as my gear is concerned. I guess now I'll show you guys how it all kind of packs together. Alright, be right back. There are a couple things I forgot to mention in the earlier video that I want to mention now. What I was going to do with the Nun tablets was I was just going to have those available just in case I wanted to mix up a Nun mixture, not only to have electrolytes, but also to just have a different taste in your mouth other than just continual water. So that is why I'm going to be bringing those. And then one other thing that I forgot to mention is I'm going to be bringing my GPS. I forgot to throw that down on the Tyvek over here, but that's also going to be coming with me. I'm going to have a GPX file already installed of the hike to the top of San Gorgonio, so that's going to be coming with me also. Okay, so I guess it's time to show you guys how all this gets packed up. did that incorrectly. The food next. There we go. And now the cook kit on top of that. The water is going to go in there. So what we've got so far is we've got the auxiliary clothes, the food on top of that. We're going to put the water pump. Oh, I'm sorry. The cook kit is right on top of that. And then we got the water pump right over here. So essentially the water pump is something I'm going to be using often, so I'm going to keep that up closer to the top. The jacket also is something that I kind of want to keep closer to the top. So that's going to be stuffed in here. So I can pull that in and out as needed. Okay, so that takes care of a good portion of the gear already. And I can just cinch this up. Throw that guy in there. Alright, now under the hood is where I'm going to keep the fire permit. Because that's nice and flat. And we'll zip that guy shut. Okay, so there we are there. Okay, so in the brain of the pack, oh, one other thing I forgot to mention, I'm going to also take this Leatherman Squirt. Hopefully that's in the shot right there, but yeah, the Leatherman Squirt, the PS4. That's really all you need out there, dude. I don't need some huge knife. So that's also in the brain. So in there, I'm going to have my just miscellaneous gear stuff and my headlamp and the gloves. Those will go up on top. And we'll zip that guy up. Okay, so that takes care of that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the sit pad and I'm actually going to put it lengthwise like that. Bring this guy on top. And that just zips up over there. And that sits like that. Okay. In the two side pockets, I'm going to have the smart water bottles. Get that right there. So that's one. And number two. And I'm just going to go ahead and cinch these down a little bit. Just to kind of keep that all together. Actually, not too terrible much because I want the pack to flex a little bit to my body. So I'm going to leave that just a little bit loose so it doesn't compress everything too much and it screws up the back. So same difference on this side. We'll just tighten this just a little bit. Oh, sorry about that. Okay. Alright, so the things that remain are things that are going to go in the hip belt pockets, and that's actually going to be attached to the front. I'll show you how that goes. So in the left side hip belt pocket, I'm going to keep my sun protection and my lip balm, and on the right side I'm going to keep the starburst. Okay. So that takes care of that. And then the GPS I actually just hang from the side. And then the stow on the go thing that Osprey has, I actually use to hold this little hello. You hold this little tripod. Okay. And there you go. We're all packed up. So all that gear fit into the Talon 18, and that's what I plan on bringing to Mount San Gorgonio.